What's up, everybody? VGV here. Welcome back to Destination Switch, your destination for everything Switch 1 and Switch 2 related. And guys, I'm about to take y'all on a tour of one of the most incredible home arcades you will ever see.
What's up, everybody? Here with VGV. My name is Chris, Headhunters06. My channel is Bait and Switch. You can find me at Bait and Switch TV on YouTube. This is a quick walkthrough of my game room. It's still under construction, but I hope you enjoy it, and I just enjoyed kicking it with my brother. Peace.
Bro, what did I just walk into?
And this is a life work of collecting for about the last 20, 30 years, brother.
Wow. So you've been a collector for 30 years?
Easy. I started getting these arcades early 90s. Down in Florida, operators were getting older. They were getting rid of machines for, back in the day, $25, $30 working. And I would drive down there and pick them up and come back to Georgia with them.
So what made you get started collecting these arcades? Because obviously that's where your start is.
Yeah. My dad had a couple we had at the house growing up, and hung out in a lot of arcades growing up. And you fall in love with the art. That's really why you have so many, because you can get multi-cades nowadays, but the cabinet art and the stories, sometimes with the stuff inscribed on them, and you can tell people were used to play on them. It just kind of captures you, man, and wheels you in.
That's awesome, man. So I gotta know, what was the first arcade console that you bought and brought home?
I would have to say Star Wars Cockpit working. Yeah, and this is a big boy. Gonna get one on the trailer.
Wow. So out of all these arcade machines, I gotta ask you, what is your favorite one?
It's gotta be Tapper. One of my favorite games, and then close would be Splatterhouse, would be a close second.
Okay. Now you mentioned that you have a world record for one of these arcades. You want to get into that?
Yeah, it's Beezer. It was a very rare game. It's probably only about 5 or 6 in the country. My dad was a big player of that, and I got one working some years ago and just started practicing on it, and I got a card with twin galaxies recognized for my score. So
that is freaking awesome. It's unbelievable. Like, I'm just looking at certain ones like the Outrun, Crazy Taxi.
Yes.
Like, so many just stands out. course, I'm a big Blitz fan. You got Showtime back there.
Yeah.
Like it's freaking incredible. So let me ask you, because I'm sure you're still familiar with how the arcade market is. How much different is it when you were amassing this collection? Like, do you feel like you got them for pretty cheap compared to what they go for now?
Oh yeah. So throughout the process of the years, I've sold all of them and bought them all back. But yeah, you'll never get back to those days where these things were 50, 60 bucks. They used to have auctions all over the East Coast, West Coast, and I heard stories of they would have like leftover. They would sell games for 10 bucks a piece.
Wow.
I mean, good games, good titles. And people, like when they didn't want to take everything home or take the games home, because these things are huge and heavy. And they sub in the parking lot, 10, 20 bucks a piece.
Right.
So it'll never get back there.
That is absolutely insane. Unbelievable. But given that this is a Nintendo Switch channel, so not only do you collect arcades, but you got to tell me about this incredible Nintendo Switch collection that I'm staring at right now. This is what I inspire to be, but it's like you're here.
Well, the funny thing is, how I found your channel, I wanted a complete Wii collection first. That's how I first got started.
Okay.
And you had that. And I was like, man, it's just something about the all white. So about March of 2024, I finally broke down and bought a Switch. The OLED was out, so I did get the OLED, and I mean, man, it just caught like wildfire. I instantly fell in love with it, and I mean, man, literally started buying. I remember it was right when you remember GameStop was having the buy two get one free.
Yep.
So I was able to get a lot right off the rip with that.
So let me get this straight. How many Switch games do you own?
This is up until yesterday, 1,189.
That is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me in about a year and a half, you have collected 1,189 Switch titles?
Yeah.
Like, what are you?
Let's put an asterisk by that, because
Okay.
I did buy a couple of big collections.
Okay.
Which kind of puts it in perspective.
Got it.
Because I never want anybody to think that I went out. I did buy a lot. Like how like how I saw you getting your games. Like you get more than you think. But I bought a couple collections that put me like right at the 600 mark. After I had about 40, 50 titles. So that's a huge. I mean, you can imagine now. It kind of puts it in a better perspective.
Yeah, definitely. Because I was about to ask, like, how? Like, how'd you get it, and how'd you get it so fast? But that definitely makes
without that, it would be totally different.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And
man.
the guy had a lot of the harder to find, so I immediately got 98% of all the hard to find, limited run, and super rare off the bat. Wow. And then the rest was like you said, like what I've seen you guys do. Is kind of I learned how to hunt. And you find stuff. You'd be surprised. Like I started really going through Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Mm-hmm. I was catching games for $10, $15. So that's really how it kind of hit. And then here we are.
Okay, so you bought out 2 collections. From people.
Yes.
And I'm looking at this collection, and it looks like the majority of your collection is actually sealed.
It is. Both guys, all their stuff was sealed.
Wow.
I immediately wanted to open all of them, but what I decided to do was, because I wasn't sure how, at that time I wasn't all in love with the Switch like we both all love the Switch now. To me, one of the greatest consoles, and that's hard because I love Dreamcast. That's hard for me. So, but yeah, so I said, you know what? As I go through and start playing them, I'll open them up, and so I leave them closed unless it's something I really want to play.
Okay, that's a good and interesting way to play your games, especially with a collection this large and this vast. So I gotta ask if you are comfortable with sharing. Can you tell me the size of each collection?
Yeah. So one was probably around 400 games, and the other was close to about 225, 230. So it's quite, you're talking almost, once again, you're talking almost 700 games off rip.
Right.
And I'm sure it's not hard to get a 30, 40 of these. When I first got the system, Yeah. You know, and I was doing the twofer. There were so many games at that time. It was the perfect time because I was right before a lot of this stuff blew up.
Right.
You know, now I'm starting to go in price, but you know, like I think I got the River City Girls were you know, not even $30, you know, and those got close to 100 at one point.
Because you got some people, I'm pretty sure, watching this video be like, you should never open that. But it's good that you open games, because you got two different sides of the spectrum here. So essentially, you almost started off your collection. You had about 50 or so games, and then boom, you had 600.
Yep.
That is insane. So
and it makes it a lot easier.
When you purchased the games from these collectors, did they have a price chart and value that they had already? I'm sure they did, but
they did. They actually gave me great deals. So first off, both collections came out of Canada, so it's already a price difference, you know, lower for me. But they each gave me 20% off the total, which was huge.
So essentially, you paid 80%.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is huge, especially when you had games in that thing that were like strange. But once again, at that time, there was no real big value. I think Outlast, the horror bundle, was the most expensive one they had in that I bought, and it was $200.
Okay.
So they give you that goes for like $400 now. I think I got Stranger Things for like $75. So it's all timing too. Like this collection, let's say I couldn't buy those same games today based on prices today.
Right.
It'd be a lot more money.
Okay, so you clearly have a ton of more of the harder to find and rare titles on the Switch.
Yeah.
What do you think in this collection, in this set of Nintendo Switch titles, would be considered either, or if you want to break it down and separate it, the most rare title and the most expensive title?
Well, I just saw that Stranger Things. I guess that's going up in price because of you know, Stranger Things is back on.
Right.
That would be one that's sealed. But Outlast is still probably value-wise pretty expensive. I don't think it's sought after. It's kind of like Shantae, I have Pirate's Curse, but I don't think that's really hard to find. You just gotta have the money to get it.
Right.
A lot of the rare stuff I have is stuff that probably isn't really even that valuable. Stuff that came out of Canada. I mean, sorry, out of China, Japan, or came out of UK. There's a Taito Laserdisc game. A lot of people have never heard of it, but it has like the arcade Laserdisc games, and one of them is Star Blazers, which was never released.
Wow.
That's a hard one to get. Dragon's Lair is another fan favorite of mine. This Xenoblade one is the Peggy version of that. The Definitive Edition is, you know. But, you know, for me, I never really got into it for the rarity of them. The one thing I did, each one of these titles, which is crazy, I researched, looked them up, saw what they were about, you know, and kind of tried to stay in that range of 65% or up. Unless it was just something that, like G.I. Joe's a favorite of mine, so G.I. Joe could have been 5%, I was going to buy it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So yeah, so that's one thing. I have sold the consoles, but so I would go with, you know, Dust is a pretty expensive one. But you know, I don't think you can really say which one is the rarest. I have majority of the rare stuff. I have, you know, the one I don't have that one is Sally Face.
Okay.
That's pretty expensive.
Okay. What does that go for?
About $450 now.
That's insane.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm afraid to buy it because are they gonna, you know, I look up tomorrow, they re-release it.
Yes.
You know, so
I'm also looking, I see that you have some collector's editions over here.
Yeah, a few of these.
Can you tell me, let's just point out some of your favorite ones.
I love West of Loathing. A lot of people haven't played that. That's a great game. I have it on a regular version. And then this one is not really worth a lot, but I love Monkey Island. I got me, you talked about, I love those old point and click, 80s classic games. But you know, I love Blaster Master and the Halloween retro rounds. It's not worth anything, but I love it.
I got that one too.
Yep.
So there's a couple that I got up there, but not quite this collection, man. So you also have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Bait and Switch.
Bait and Switch.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What made you want to get started with a channel?
So once again, I saw your channel and I saw Minato Max's channel. Kind of my first introduction to I've never really wanted to be a content creator because I'm not the be in the front of the camera guy.
Right.
But I like what I liked the most about the challenge was you guys talking about the games, why you like the games. It was not more like I'm showing off. It was more like, hey, this is out here. And so decided to get into it just for fun. Don't care if I ever have anybody on or not. But I was going to originally review games. And so what I was trying to say was the whole concept was I give you a review because, like all these games have gorgeous covers, right?
Yep.
I want to be like, well, before you spend your hard-earned money, is this game worth playing or is it bait?
Yep.
And that's where bait and switch comes from. I've since decided just to kind of talk about games that are out there as opposed to do reviews. I can tell you if I enjoyed the game. I'm not in it to see if everybody else likes the game. I just kind of tell people what I like, and I want to show them different games that are out there. There's a lot of games mixed in here that people have never heard of. There's games that people just talk about now that I've had for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's really the thing that I'm trying to do. And bait and switch at that time had already done all the, logos and all, so I wasn't going to change the name. But it's more than anything, it's just like, hey, look up the stuff you're getting before you get it.
So you're pretty much sharing the knowledge with people. And I can relate to that concept because I like to kind of do that. I'm one of the ones that not officially saying I'm going after the complete Switch set, but I do like to get these games and also just pretty much let people know, not from a critical stance of how good or bad a game is and how well they perform, but whether or not I enjoyed it and what the game is all about.
Right.
And that definitely sounds like that's something that you're doing. And from just looking at your collection, how long you just been collecting, you definitely have a wealth of knowledge to share.
Yeah, I look at all of them, I research all of them. And I think that's the thing that separates me from just a quote unquote hoarder, somebody that, like, I know the games and I'm ready to play the games. But once again, if you're close to me, if somebody, if Monado say, hey, I want to review this, or if anybody, I'm open to like the guy at the store, he borrowed one of my games.
Okay.
And go ahead, they're there, until I get to them. But I don't care about having them sealed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not putting them in a time capsule or anything.
Yeah, let's open everything up and actually play these
Right,
games.
right, exactly.
Let's definitely do that.
Yep.
So, just to kind of close this out, what are your future plans as far as your channel is concerned? Anything in the works or behind the scenes that you may be working on, and let the people know how they can find you.
Okay. Well, yeah, definitely. So I'm working right now. If you see here, I'm filming every single game one by one. And I'm going to do a year end this year, around the new year, of every single game I have. You'll get to see it, close up, what the game is. And we'll go through that. I got a great guy, Forge. He does a lot of my editing, and he awesome guy. So I'm doing that. I'm gonna do the 12 Days of Christmas, and that'll be it's 12. There's not a lot of Christmas games, but there are Christmas games, but there are some that take place during the holidays. So I'm on YouTube, just at Bait and Switch TV. I had to put the TV on it because somebody had, Bait and Switch is pretty common. We're trying to grow, man. We love people to get on and get involved, and the more people show up, the more and more content we'll keep creating. And I want to do more stuff with you. And I'm trying to get my live stream going so I can show some of these games off. And that's another way I'm gonna be opening games. You guys tell me which game you want to see. It's open. It's done. Or if they say, hey, whatever we want to do, it's for the fans. Like, this is not something just gonna sit here. But I love Nintendo. So I'm trying to start GameCube. I got a bunch of DS. I just got into Pokemon for the first time. Pokemon's a little bit past my time, but I came back and they're very well made games. So yeah, man, I'm super excited.
Well, Chris, I just want to thank you for your time and invite me into your game room, man. And just want to let everybody know, stay tuned. We definitely gonna be doing some content together. So we got some things in the work, but Chris, I just want to thank you for having me down in your game room and just kind of sharing your story with me.
My pleasure, brother. You're welcome anytime.